How was your 2022? Did you actually achieve those goals for 2022? Let's talk about 2022. Hi, my name is Tommy Maloney. I am the host of the podcast Blending the Family. I do have a new book out called My Dad's Advice at 5:04 a.m., which you can pick up on the website at blendingfamily.com. Or if you want to give money to Jeff Bezos, you can go there. But let's talk about, did you achieve your goals for 2022? I missed the mark on several of them, but we're going to talk about how you can take 2022 right now and take some momentum and move it forward for 2023. All right. So one of the things I want to talk about on my whiteboard right here. Don't settle. As I come back into frame, don't settle. Did I settle for 2022? Yes, I settled in work-wise, okay? What did you settle? And maybe it's something you want to think about, sit down, write down, and go, all right, maybe it's the job, maybe it's a relationship, or maybe first thing we're going to talk about is fitness. So here's where I failed in 2022 for fitness. So one of my goals was to hit 10,000 steps a day, get my weight down to 170, 175. Unfortunately, as the year progressed, my weight actually escalated. 2022, right now, I have started a better routine. I've thought about more of what I want to eat on a daily basis with the help of my wife. Matter of fact, we've started a walking routine. Every morning we've been getting up early, way too early, but we're getting up early, walking the dogs, getting steps. Like I said, my goal was 10,000 steps a day. By the time we get back from the house, we have achieved half of that. So it's up to me to get another 5, 6, 7. And actually, I'm averaging now anywhere between 11 and 12,000 steps because of starting that habit, starting that, having an accountability partner. So my wife is my accountability partner. I am hers to make sure that each morning we are getting up, going for our walks, okay? So fitness is one of my top priorities, if I can say that, top priorities for 2023. I've already started. How can you start to build momentum right now to carry into 2023? All right. Something that I have on this piece of paper said achieved, something I did achieve for 2022, something small, but I created a newsletter. It's on Substack. It's called Blending the Family. It's something I wanted to do for 2022 because as a podcast host, and we're going to talk more about that in a bit, as a podcast host, I like to develop content centered around that guest that I had a conversation with. This way, I can talk about within the newsletter some things that maybe we didn't mention on the podcast, but something we talked about off mic that I want to share with the audience, okay? Newsletter, Substack, Blending the Family, find it. Please subscribe. All right. Podcast, that was one of my goals. There's a great book called The One Thing by Gary Keller. My one thing is the podcast. And what do I mean by that? Having a podcast for me can spawn off several things. So for example, just having the podcast, I do have it transcribed. So from the transcription, I can have an ebook, I can have blog posts, I can also take that content and use it in maybe a future book. But we have a current book right now. Plug, yes, okay? What is your one thing? What is one thing that can create other things? So again, for the podcast, it can create written content, but maybe there's a meeting planner out there that maybe heard the podcast and they want me to come and speak to their organization or maybe be on a panel. Coaching can come from the podcast as well. You know, we talked about having an accountability partner. As a coach, I can help you in several different ways, okay? So right now, 2023 for me is starting to look better than it did a few months ago. My number one priority for 2023, again, It's going to be my fitness. I need to shed a lot of weight. Number 2 is going to be the podcast. And what I mean by that is one of the things I have written down here is I want more podcasts. I want to develop more content. So podcasts on a daily basis. And I had number 3 written down. What did I write down? Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. God bless these notes. Number 3 was writing more content for online magazines. So online magazines, Daily Paws. I love writing about dogs. We have dogs. Huffington Post, Well and Good, Trischool.org, Fatherly, and Your Tango are some of the online magazines that I read, and these are some of the online magazines I'm going to pitch to, okay? So there you go. 2022, for some of us, might not have looked so bright, but now I hope this helps you. I hope you can go forward and have a better looking 2023. What are your 3 top goals for 2023? Send them to me. Tommy at blendingthefamily.com. That's Tommy at blendingthefamily.com. And I want to say thank you to all my guests on the podcast this year, to all you listeners out there. Thank you. We've got new podcast episodes coming up, so stay tuned for that. And as I say on my podcast, your success is my success. Hopefully, technology will be good to me right now.